Good afternoon, students. In this class, we are going to discuss about the next concept in the p block elements, that is anomalous properties of boron. This concept we will discuss now. For this one, I will take rough paper. We are discussing about which group? 13th group. Correct? 13th group. What are the 13th group elements? 13th group elements: boron, aluminium, gallium, indium, thallium. Now here, boron is the first member of 13th group. First member of which group? 13th group. Right. Now, therefore, this boron shows the different properties. This boron shows the different properties compared with the other elements in the same group. That is called anomalous. That is called as what? Anomalous. The properties of this boron is different. Properties of this boron is different from the other elements. In the same group. That is called as what? Anomalous properties of boron. What is meant by anomalous properties of boron? The boron which is present in the 13th group element shows different properties. Shows what? Different properties with the other elements in the same group. Other elements are having one type property. This boron is having another type property. That is called anomalous properties of boron. That we will discuss. Now, what are the reasons for the anomalous properties of the boron? Reasons we will discuss. What are the reasons? Now, if you check here, 13th group elements: boron, aluminium, gallium, indium, thallium. Boron, aluminium, gallium, indium, thallium. From top to bottom, size increases. Size goes on, increases. Means which one is having smaller size? Very smaller size. Boron. This is having very smaller size. This is the first reason for the anomalous properties of the boron. Why boron shows the anomalous properties in the 13th group means first reason is smaller size. Now, and also if you take the charge by size ratio, already we have discussed, right? Charge by size ratio, that is polarizing power. That is charge by size ratio. This one is having, all are having almost all same charge, right? Boron is having smaller size means it is having high polarizing power. Smaller size, high polarizing power, right? And also smaller size means must and should it has what? Smaller size means must and should it has high electronegativity. And also if you check the electronic configuration of boron, gallium, indium, thallium, in the boron there is no d orbitals are involved, whereas in gallium, indium, thallium d orbitals are there. Means here non availability of d orbitals. These are the main reasons for the anomalous of properties of boron in the 13th group. What are those? First one is smaller size. First one is what? Smaller size. Second one is high polarizing power. Third one is high electronegativity. And the last one, if you see the electronic configuration in the boron, d orbitals are not available. That is non-availability of the d orbitals. These are the main reasons for the anomalous properties of the boron. That is only I am writing here. Here I will write the reasons heading. Reasons. What are the reasons? We will write one by one we will discuss. First one, because of smaller size. Second one, high polarizing power, that is charge by size ratio. And the third one is high electronegativity. And the fourth one is non-availability of d orbitals. d orbitals. These are the main reasons for the anomalous properties of the boron. Now we will discuss the properties. What are the properties which are different? These are the reasons. What we have studied, reasons for anomalous properties of boron. Now we will go for the properties. What are the different properties? Now we will discuss. Now just check here. Just check here. First, one by one we will discuss boron and other elements. Other elements in the same group. Here it is boron. Here other elements in the same group. Now if you check the boron, boron is a non-metal. Boron is what? Non-metal. Boron is non-metallic in nature. Non-metal. Whereas other elements, if you check, they are metallic in nature. Means they are metals. Means first anomalous property is, first different property is, boron is a non-metal, other elements in the same group are metals. Boron is non-metal, other elements in the same group are metals, right? Now second one already I wrote boron and other elements. Boron and other elements. If you check boron, it is non-metal, means good conductor, bad conductor. Already I told boron is a non-metal. Non-metal means good conductor, bad conductor. Bad conductor of heat and electricity. Bad conductor of heat and electricity. Whereas other elements, metals or non-metals are metals. Metals means good conductor, bad conductor, good conductor. That is only I am writing here. Other elements are good conductor of heat and electricity. Means the second anomalous property is boron is a bad conductor of heat and electricity, whereas other elements, those are aluminium, gallium, indium, thallium, are good conductor of heat and electricity. Next, third one. Third one is, here it is, boron oxides and hydroxides. Boron oxides, right? Boron oxides and boron hydroxides. Boron oxides and hydroxides are, if you check, these are acidic in nature. They can react with the base, means these are acidic in nature. Acidic in nature. Boron oxides and hydroxides are acidic in nature, whereas other elements E, maybe aluminium, gallium, indium, thallium. If you take oxides, other elements oxides or hydroxides, other elements oxides or hydroxides, if you check, these are maybe amphoteric or basic in nature. Amphoteric or basic in nature. Amphoteric or basic in nature. It is also different property na. Only boron oxides and hydroxides are acidic in nature, whereas other elements oxides and hydroxides are maybe amphoteric or basic in nature. It is also one of the anomalous property of the boron. That is only I am writing here. Oxides of boron and hydroxides of boron are acidic in nature. Whereas here it is, whereas other elements oxides and hydroxides are amphoteric or basic in nature. Means only the oxides of boron and hydroxides of boron are acidic in nature, whereas other elements oxides and hydroxides may be amphoteric or basic. This is also one of the different property of the boron compared with the other element in the same group. Next we will go for the fourth one. Here, for example, this is the rough paper I want to take. If you check, here it is for fourth one. If you take the compounds of boron, for example, this one is compound of boron. Here if you check, it is formed only covalent compounds. means the compound is formed by the only covalent bonds. Only covalent bonds means here this is the compound of boron. If you check what is the nature, it is a covalent compound. It is a covalent compound means boron can form only covalent compounds. Only covalent compounds. If you check the compounds of other elements, other element, these are both sometimes covalent and ionic. Means boron compounds are only covalent, whereas other elements compounds are both covalent and ionic. It is also one of the anomalous properties of the boron. That is only I am writing here boron, right? Here other elements, right? Here boron forms only covalent compounds, whereas other elements forms both covalent and ionic compounds. This is the another anomalous property of the boron. Next we will go for the fifth one. If you check maximum covalency, means boron can form maximum 4 bonds. Maximum how many bonds? 4 bonds. Means its maximum covalency, the capacity of an atom to form the maximum number of covalent bonds is called as what? Covalency, right? It can form maximum 4 covalent bonds, therefore its covalency is maximum 4. Whereas other elements, right, they can form up to 6 covalent bonds. Means maximum covalency of the other elements is 6. Now why it is happening? Because here there is no d orbitals, non-availability of d orbitals in the boron, whereas here d orbitals are present. Therefore they can extend their covalency. Means here other elements can form maximum 6 covalent bonds, boron can form only 4 covalent bonds, because in the boron there are no d orbitals are available for the bonding, whereas in the other elements d orbitals are available for the bonding, therefore it can form with the 6 bonds. That is only I am writing here boron and other elements. Boron, here maximum covalency for the boron is 4. For other elements maximum covalency is 6. Maximum covalency of boron is 4. For other elements maximum covalency is 6. Right? Now next we will go for the another anomalous property of the boron, 6th one. What is this one? Here first you should have to know what is meant by allotropic forms. Here just check here, from the wood we can make window, we can make door, we can make chair, etc. Right? From the wood we can make window, we can make door, we can make chair, we can make table, etc. Right? But all these are made up of same element, that is wood only, made up of same element, that is wood, right? But the properties of all these are same or different? The property of window is same as that of door or different? The property of door is different, the property of chair is different, the property of chair is different, the property of table is different. Means window where it is used, door where it is used, chair when it is used, table where it is used, and when it is used, it means the properties are different, but the made up of same wood. That is called allotropic forms. That is called as what? Allotropic form. What is meant by allotropic form? Made up of same element but having different properties. is called as what? Allotropic form. Is called as what? Allotropic form. That is only I am writing. Now just check here. If you check the boron, if you go for the boron, boron is available in allotropic forms. It shows allotropic forms. Boron shows the allotropic forms. Already you know. Many compounds made up of boron, right, but having different properties. That is, boron forms the allotropic forms, right. Whether elements, other elements, no allotropic forms, not available in allotropic forms, right, or do not form the allotropic compounds. Means boron has available in allotropic forms, other elements are not available in the allotropic forms. It is also anomalous property. That is only I am writing sixth one. Sixth one is boron is available in allotropic form. Allotropic forms, and also both in crystalline and amorphous forms. Both in crystalline and amorphous forms, right. The allotropic forms of boron are available both in crystalline and amorphous forms. Crystalline and amorphous forms. Whereas other elements not available in the allotropic forms. Not available in allotropic forms, right. This is also one more anomalous properties of the boron. Boron available in the allotropic forms, whereas other elements are not available in the allotropic forms. These are the 6 anomalous properties of the boron. Next we will discuss another 2 anomalous properties of the boron, right. Next, 7th anomalous property. We will go for the 7th one. 7th one is, now just to check here, I take rough paper. Here, boron plus dilute acid, there is no reaction. No reaction means boron is not reacted with the dilute acids. Boron is not reacted with the dilute acids. If you add other elements, in the dilute acids, if you add other elements in the dilute acids, there is a reaction, and compulsory they will releases the hydrogen gas, that is H2 gas. Boron is not reacted with the dilute acids, there is no reaction, whereas other elements are reacted with the dilute acids and they releases the dihydrogen gas. It is also one of the anomalous properties of the boron. What is that? Boron is not reacted with the dilute acids, whereas other elements are reacted with dilute acids and releases dihydrogen gas. That is only I am writing here. Here, boron is, or boron do not react with dilute acids, whereas other elements reacts with dilute acids and releases dihydrogen gas. Boron, when you add boron in the acids, there is no reaction. When these other elements, maybe aluminum, gallium, indium, thallium, when you add these other elements in the acids, they will react with that dilute acid and they compulsory releases the dihydrogen as gas. Right. This is the another anomalous property of the boron. Next we will go for the last one. Now here, last one. For this one I will take rough paper. Just check here, last anomalous property of the boron. Now just check here, boron when it is reacted with the halogens, it will form boron trihalides. maybe Cl3, maybe Br3, etc. Boron chloride, etc. Right? Now boron trihalides. These are monomers. Monomers means only one structure here in this way, BXXX in this way. These are monomers. Whereas other elements trihalides, EX3, other elements trihalides, right? EX3. If you check, these are dimers. For example, aluminium, Al, Cl, one aluminium trihalide, that is right here. It is Al, Cl, two aluminium trihalides, means it is a one monomer. Here it is another monomer, means how many monomers I took? Two. Therefore it is called dimer. Here in this way it will form the structure. Right? Means boron trihalides are monomers, whereas other elements trihalides are dimers. That is only I am writing last one. Right? Now eighth one, BX3 is a monomer, whereas other elements EX3, here it is, other elements in the same group, that is 13th group, are dimers. It is also one of the anomalous properties of what? Which element? Boron. Right? Now this is about the anomalous properties of the boron in the 13th group elements. Next we will go for the another concept, that is uses of boron, aluminium and their compounds. Next we are going to discuss about this concept, that is uses of boron, aluminium and their compounds. We will discuss one by one. First we will discuss the uses of boron and their compounds. Right? Now it is simple concept. Directly I will write. Just check here. Silicon and germanium are semiconductors. Silicon and germanium are semiconductors. Right? Now here, if you want to change the electrical properties of these semiconductors, it should be mixed with the other elements. Means for changing the electrical properties of the semiconductor, you should have to mix or add, right, with other elements. Here it can be doped with the boron. Doped means mixing, right? Adding impurities in the semiconductors is called as what? Doping. Means boron. Here it is. Boron is added into the semiconductors for changing the electrical properties of the semiconductors. That is the first use of boron. That is only I am writing here. Now what is the first one? Is boron is used to dope in silicon and germanium semiconductors for modifying their electrical properties. Means for changing the electrical properties of the semiconductors, those semiconductors should be mixed with the boron. Correct? Now this is the one of the use of boron. Next we will go for the second use. Now that is, second one is, here it is, boron oxide. Here boron oxide, the formula is B2O3, is used in glass making and ceramics. means boron oxide, that is B2O3, boron oxide, that is B2O3, is used in glass making and ceramics, this is the another use of the boron, correct? Now next we will go for the third use of the boron, that is, now just check here, third one. What is this one? Is borax. Already we know the borax. The formula is, what is the formula of the borax? Na2B4O7 10H2O. This is called borax. This is called as what? Borax. Is used for, or is used in making fiber glasses. Fiber, you know already, correct? For making the fiber glasses, the borax is used. The borax is used, and also it is used as a water softener. And also it is used as a water softener also. Now, and also for killing the bacteria, right? Viruses, etc. Means it is used as insecticides, and also disinfectants. Means these are the few uses of borax. It is used for making the fiber glasses, it is used for some water softener, and also it is used as insecticides and disinfectants, that is for killing the bacteria, viruses, microorganisms, it is used, right? Next, fourth one is boron carbide. That is, so the formula of the boron carbide is B4C, is used in tank of armor, that is armies in tank it is used, or for making the bulletproof vests. Means bulletproof suits are there for armies, correct? If anyone is in the army, right, for in the wars, right, they used to wear the bulletproof vests, right? Bulletproof vests, that is bulletproof suits, that is also made up of the boron carbide. Now, and next we will go for the uses of aluminium and their compounds. Aluminium and their compounds we will discuss now one by one, right? It is also very easy. In the transportations, for example, automobiles. In the automobiles, aluminium is present, right? In the aircrafts means aeroplane parts also, right? Aircraft, right? Here also the aluminium is present, and also in the railways, and also in the trucks, right? Aluminium is used, that is in the transportation the aluminium is used. Second one is for packing. If you want to pack the food, right, they use to aluminium papers, right, for packing food or some packing, right? Aluminium is used. Now next, here third one. For this one I will take another paper. Third use of aluminium is alum. Alum, right? It is the compound of the aluminium, is used for the purification of the water in the wells, in the some water tanks, right? Alum is used so that the water will get purified, right? Means aluminium, that is alum, is used in the water treatment. Indirectly I can say that aluminium is also used in the water treatment. This is the third use of the aluminium, right? Next, fourth one is in the constructions. That is for making the windows. In the construction means what? For making the windows, doors, right, etc. The aluminium is used for making the windows, doors in the constructions, that is for making the windows, doors, the aluminium is also used. Next, last one, fifth one is Fifth, highly pure, that is I am writing super purity aluminium. Super purity aluminium is used in for making electronics is used in the electronic and also in making the CDs, electronic CDs, correct? Now aluminium is used. These are the few uses of boron and aluminium. This completes your 13th group over. This completes your 13th group, right? Now next we will go for the 14th group. In this class only we will start the 14th group elements, right? Up to now we have discussed about the 13th group elements, that is over. Next we will go for the 14th group elements. 14th group elements, that is group 14. Group 14, or it is also called carbon family. Group 14 or carbon family. Already we have completed the 13th group elements. After completion of the 13th group elements, now we are starting the 14th group elements or group of 14. Here it is 1 4 14th group, right? That is also called as what? Carbon family. Now we will see what are the elements in the 14th group. 14th group, what are the elements? I will write the elements here. The elements in the 14th group are carbon, silicon, germanium, tin, and the last one is lead. Now the symbol for the carbon is C. C means carbon. The symbol for the silicon is Si, silicon. The symbol for the germanium is Ge, and the symbol for the tin is Sn, and the symbol for the lead is Pb. Right? Now just to check here, this carbon is the first member of the 14th group. Carbon is the first member of which group? 14th group, right? Now here, and also it is the seventh most abundant element. Carbon is the seventh most abundant element, whereas this silicon is second most abundant element. Which is the seventh most abundant element? Your answer should be carbon. Which is the second most abundant element? Your answer should be right, silicon. Now and also just remember here, I will write carbon, silicon, germanium, tin, and the lead. Carbon, silicon, germanium, tin, and lead. Here carbon is a first member, which is a non-metal in the 14th group. Carbon is the first member and also it is non-metal. Carbon is a non-metal in the 14th group. And here silicon and germanium, these two, silicon and germanium are metalloids. Silicon and germanium are metalloids in the 14th group. Silicon and germanium are metalloids in the 14th group. And the last, these two, right? That is tin and lead are metals in the 14th group. Means in the 14th group, the carbon is the non-metal, silicon and germanium are the metalloids, tin and lead are the metals. Next, we will go for the general properties of 14th group elements. For this one I took another paper. What is our heading? General properties of 14th group elements. General properties of 14th group elements, that we will discuss now. What are those? We will discuss now. Here it is. First we will discuss one by one. First I want to discuss the electronic configuration. Electronic configuration of 14th group elements. right? Now first I want to write the elements. First I want to make the column first elements, second atomic number Z I want to write, and the third column I want to write here electronic configuration. Electronic configuration for the which group? 14th group elements. Now what are the elements in the 14th group? I will write the elements right here. It is now carbon. 14th group elements. What are the elements? Carbon, silicon, germanium, tin, lead. These are the elements of 14th group, right? Atomic number of carbon is how much? Now here I will write the atomic number. Atomic number of carbon is 6. Atomic number of silicon is 14. Atomic number of germanium is 32. Atomic number of tin is 50. Atomic number of lead is 82. These are the atomic numbers. Carbon atomic number is 6. Carbon atomic number is 6. Right? Silicon atomic number is 14. Germanium atomic number is 32. Tin atomic number is 50. Lead atomic number is 82. These are the atomic number of 14th group elements. Next we will discuss the electronic configuration. Now just check here electronic configuration of these elements. Now here electronic configuration of carbon is already you know 1s2, that is helium, 2s2, 2p2, and electronic configuration of silicon is neon, 3s2, 3p2, and the electronic configuration of the germanium is argon, that is 18, and here it is germanium belongs to the fourth period. Fourth period means D block elements are also coming, therefore argon 3d10, 4s2, 4p2 and the electronic configuration of tin is krypton, 4d10, 5s2, 5p2. Here this lead belongs to the sixth period. Therefore F block orbitals, right, that is F block elements are also entering here. Therefore the electronic configuration is xenon, 4f14, that is n-2f, 4f14, 5d10 and 6s2, 6p2. Now if you check the highest n value, here it is 2, here it is 3, here it is 4, here it is 5, here it is 6, that is period number. Carbon belongs to which period? Second period. Silicon belongs to third period. Germanium belongs to fourth period, highest n value, and tin belongs to fifth period, and lead belongs to sixth period. Correct? If you check the general valence shell electronic configuration, outermost shell valence electronic configuration, that is general valence shell electronic configuration. Once again I will tell, this meaning is general valence shell electronic configuration for the 14th group elements is, for 14th group electronic configuration is ns2np2. Just check here, n value is 2, s2, n value is 2, p2, that is ns2 np2. Here n value is 3, that is ns2 np2. Here n value is 4, ns2 np2. Here n value is 5, ns2 np2. Here n value is 6, ns2 np2. Right? Therefore general valence shell electronic configuration for which group? 14th group. It is not for all. Right? It is for 14th group is ns2 np2, ns2 np2. Next, after completion of the first general properties of the 14th group elements, next we will go for the second one. Second one is covalent radius. Now what are the elements? I want to write the elements first. What are the elements? Carbon, silicon, germanium, tin and the lead. These are the elements of which group? 14th group. From top to bottom, size increases or decreases? Already we know in the classification of elements we have studied, from top to bottom the size or the covalent radius goes on increases. Here it is smaller size, next little bit more larger size, again it is larger size. Here it is carbon, silicon, germanium, tin, lead. Means from top to bottom what happens? Covalent radius increases or decreases? Top to bottom, that is along group, right? The covalent radius, that is size, increasing or decreasing? Increasing. That is only I am writing covalent radius from top to bottom, that is in 14th group. Top to bottom or in 14th group is increases. Means from top to bottom, that is In 14th group, the covalent radius is increasing, that is increases, right? Next we will go for the ionization enthalpy and the electronegativity. At the same time we will discuss here third one, ionization enthalpy, and here I will discuss fourth one, that is electronegativity. What is meant by ionization enthalpy? Amount of energy required to remove the electron from the outermost shell in the isolated gaseous atom. Means the amount of energy required to remove the last electron from the isolated gaseous atom, right? That is called as what? Ionization enthalpy. Ionization enthalpy is inversely proportional to the size, right? Therefore I will write the elements first. What are the elements? Carbon, silicon, germanium, tin, and the last one is lead, correct? Carbon, silicon, germanium, tin, and the lead. Now here it is from top to bottom. If the covalent radius increases, that is size increases, means ionization enthalpy decreases. Here it is, from here it is decreases. Ionization enthalpy decreases. Why it decreases? Size is increasing, therefore ionization enthalpy decreases. But from here, tin to lead, the ionization enthalpy little bit increases because of screening effect. Already we know that increases, correct? Here from carbon to tin, ionization enthalpy decreases. From tin to lead, small increase in the ionization enthalpy, right? This is about the ionization enthalpy along the 14th group. Next we will go for the electronegativity. I will write the elements first. What are the elements? Carbon, silicon, germanium, tin, and the last one is lead. These are the elements of 14th group. Elements of which group? 14th group. Now here some variation will be there. What are those variations? Carbon to silicon, right? If you check from carbon to silicon, there is a decrease in the electronegativity. Decrease in what? Electronegativity. From silicon to tin, right? The electronegativity is almost same, 100% almost same, from silicon to tin. Further from tin to lead, there is a slight increase, small increase. That is only I am writing small increase, slight increase in the electronegativity. These are the general properties of 14th group elements. What we have discussed in the general properties of the 14th group elements? What we have discussed? Electronic configuration. If you observe all the electronic configuration for carbon, silicon, germanium, tin, lead, here atomic numbers are there, here electronic configuration is. What we came to know? General valence shell electronic configuration for the 14th group element is how much? ns2 np2. Next we have discussed about the covalent radius, that is how it will changes from carbon to lead, that is in the 14th group, that is increases. Ionization enthalpy also we have discussed, and also electronegativity also we have discussed. Now we will stop here only, and we will continue in the next class. Thank you.